Should you buy the Numark D2go2 Touch? I'm DJ Spiegel Spin, and in this video, I'm going to tell you why. I've been using this great DJ controller for several years, and in this video, I want to tell you guys who this controller is for, what are its advantages, what are its disadvantages, and should you buy it or should you look for another controller? So let's get started right now. In my opinion, if you're any type of DJ, you should get this controller for one reason, because if you're DJing with the iPad, now currently all the new iPads, the connection is USB-C. So in order to use headphones when you DJ, you're going to need a USB-C adapter that adapts and can connect a headphone jack. And then you're going to need another adapter that could split the output. So then you're going to be using 3 adapters. And like I say in a lot of my videos, the more adapters you use, the more likely you could have issues with the quality. Or if you get bad quality adapters, it might not work at all. So in order to DJ with headphones, instead of spending, I think the adapters are like $20, $30, if you just spend a few more dollars, this controller is only $89. Now you have a main output and you have a headphone output. So you could just plug your headphones into here, and then you could plug this into whatever speakers you're using, and now you have a professional setup with your headphone, with you being able to use your headphones. And if you're especially if you're a new DJ just starting out and practicing DJing at home, it is a good idea to start practicing with using headphones, so that when you go out and do gigs or do professional events, you'll know how to DJ and pre-cue and do all the stuff you need to do with your headphones. Now, if you're a more advanced DJ and you've been DJing for years and you have other controllers, this controller is perfect for a backup controller. So you could get one of these cases, and I'll leave links for the cases and the controller down below, so if you guys want to grab it at the cheapest price. But with one of these cases, now I have everything I need to DJ. So the controller goes in this case, and then I open up the case, take the controller out, and then I have one of these adapters. I'll get back into that in a second. And then I have the wires that you need. So to plug this controller into Djay Pro, this is how you do it. So very simple, very quick. Connect it into an adapter. I don't recommend using this exact adapter because there's no way to charge your iPad, and if your iPad dies, your set dies. So, and keep in mind that this controller does not get plugged into a wall outlet. It doesn't get plugged into anything but your iPad, and it's powered off the iPad. So you are going to be using additional battery. You're going to be wasting additional battery by keeping the lights on and keeping the control and having the controller plugged in. So just keep that in mind, because you don't want your iPad to die while you're DJing. So then we plug this right into here, the other side actually. And we're in. So you could keep this, you put the controller and then you put your iPad on the stand, and then you could plug your main output with one of these regular auxiliary cables, plug it into any speaker that you want to use. I recommend using a speaker that's at least loud enough to fill the room with music, even if you're just practicing at home, so you can get used to dropping down the bass and get used to DJing like a real DJ. Because if, like me, I started practicing DJing with just the speakers from my iPad, and I wouldn't adjust the bass because you can't really tell the bass when you're just DJing with small speakers. And then when I DJed on big speakers, I had both songs playing with the bass blasting, and it sounded terrible. So just keep that in mind, that when you practice, you want to start developing the right habits first. So definitely use big enough speakers. So now the controller should be plugged in, and if you see on my iPad screen that we that the controller works just like that. So if you're a brand new DJ and you've been practicing DJing with just the iPad, which I recommend that you do even as you get more advanced, or if you've been DJing for years, just in case your controller dies, in case something. And then you also, whatever features you don't have right here, you have with the touchscreen on the iPad. So a lot of the more expensive controllers have these screens built in. So you could take the advantage of that by already having one of the best DJ controllers in the world, which is your iPad. And then you have these tactical buttons and you have the jog wheels, which even though they're small jog wheels, they feel just like professional bigger ones and they perform just like them. The difference between the Touch, the DJ2go2 Touch, and the not Touch, if you're considering buying one, maybe you get one used and it's cheaper, is with these jog wheels, when the song is playing, if you do the top, you get the scratcher mode. So you could scratch with the top, and then you could speed up the track or slow down the track when you're doing beat matching by touching the sides. This is the same thing on CDJs, the same thing on very big professional controllers. So you'll be in the habit of using the jog wheels to scratch to adjust the track and to speed up the track and to slow it down. So if you start off as a beginner DJ just practicing with this controller, as you become more an advanced DJ and you get more bigger controllers and you get more equipment, you could keep this case, very small case, with your other equipment, and if your main controller dies, you could switch right over to this one. Also, if you plan on doing outdoor events, you plan on DJing on a boat, you plan on DJing where there's no power, this doesn't require any power. So I've done barbecues and small family parties at the park, and I brought this case, I brought my iPad, and I brought a Bluetooth speaker, and depending on which iPad you have, you could get like 3 to 5 hours worth of continuous DJing with the iPad fully charged and this controller, or you could get one of those battery packs like the phone chargers or something like that, and you could have backup power, but you're going to have to unplug your controller when you do that. And also, when you get one of these, you can make sure that that it has an adapter to plug in the charger, so then you could be DJing all night if you are somewhere with power. So if you want to open up yourself to more gigs where you don't have to rely on having power and a lot of room, then this controller is great for you. If you just plan on practicing at home with your friends and family and just DJing as a hobby, then this controller is awesome because now you could use the headphones and you could get used to pressing some of the buttons and knobs. And now, when you look at this controller, it doesn't have that many buttons. So there's no effect button, there's no filter button. But what you can do very easily is if you go over here, let me just turn on my mouse so you can see where I'm pointing. If you press this middle button, and then we go to settings, and then we go to MIDI devices, you click on your controller, and you could change any knob. So if you wanted to make any one of these buttons into a filter, into an effect, or whatever your style of DJing is, you could very easily map the controller to your needs. And then you could also save these configurations, and you could have so I have one for hip hop. This is the setting that I use for hip hop. It has an echo effect in it, and it has different settings. And then if I'm using this controller for doing EDM or something, I could use the original setting, or I could use the different setting. Just keep in mind that all these mappings will take up a lot of space on your iPad. And one thing with DJing with the iPad is you have to be really careful not to use too much space, because if you run out of space, it won't run it as well, and the app could crash and stuff like that. So let's just go to my settings, iPad storage. And look, DJ is taking up 26 gigabytes, and then we click it, and then we have all of these mappings. So let me get you to a mapping. So Numark D2go2 Touch 3, 20 kilobytes. So just keep in mind, don't do too many of these mappings, but you should have one for hip hop, have one for whatever style of DJing you want, and then have other ones. So instead of just having one controller with one setup, you could get the effects of having multiple controllers with this one device. So to wrap it up, should you buy this DJ controller? 100% yes. This is a must-have for anyone that is DJing with the iPad, anyone that's DJing with Djay Pro, and you could also use this controller. This controller is actually designed for Serato, so if you don't use Djay Pro and you use a laptop in Serato, this controller will work perfectly for you. And then if you use Virtual DJ, Rekordbox, and all these other programs, this controller will work perfectly and it will have pre-mapped settings. So any type of DJ, just to have as a backup, just to have something to mess around, to have something to bring to the barbecue, bring to the party, I definitely recommend this controller. So if you like learning about all the iPad DJ controllers, learning how to DJ with Djay Pro, and the future of DJing, subscribe to my channel. I make DJ videos several times a week. Thank you.